Yo, what's up guys? Recently I made a video about 3 months ago I made a video about how farming R5 is terrible and why and how it should be fixed. However, it's not fixed and some people did ask me, can you give a little bit more clout to this thing that is an issue that is R5? Especially after the booster event that just finished, all of us got a whole bunch of runes and we just want to get into R5. Issue is, we don't want to get into R5. It's kind of like, yeah, R5 just really does suck. Well, first of all, this is going to be a video kind of reiterating of things that I said before. If you do agree that R5 sucks, please like this video and just watch it and share it with people so Com2us can actually see that there's a big cloud of people not liking R5 and wanting to have some changes to R5. And I guess this is one of those ways that maybe could give it a little bit of clout that they might be looking into. It's like, hey, shit, maybe we should actually switch something. Well, maybe you can help out with that. Just share this video, do whatever with it. I did the math on it earlier. You pretty much need about close to 11k crystals to get one specific legendary grind. Does also mean in the same take that yes, you get every grind on average once with that 11k, but let's say you did a shit ton of Vio, you want to get that Vio 5 speeds in, and yeah, 11k per one. So yeah, that's just terrible, 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 terrible. I did do the math as well. Let's say if they were to add an R6 and they use the same upgrade from a B10 to an Abyss Heart, we would be looking at something like, because the legendary rate is supposedly around like 2.5 times as much from a B10 to an Abyss Heart. If we use the same logic in that, it will become like a 1% to get a legendary. And those are already a lot better numbers. You could argue like, yeah, you have the horns and the claws and you can add those in, but the drop rates on those are still pretty darn low. If we simply just look at the list of runes, like sure, we only actually full care about Swift, Despair, Vio, and Will, and then a few a bit on the side like Revenge, Destroy, Blade is okay, Rage, but all the ones at the bottom over here, well, so for intentional of course, but we have 5 over here, those are straight up useless. We have the 2 over here, pretty much not used that much. We have the 2 over there, pretty much not used that much. That's a lot of them that kind of fall off. Also, if you don't really farm too much Necro, then there's not going to be too much use for Vampire and all of those things. So yeah, there's a lot of issues for that in the first place. Also, with the math on this video, we have Swift being at a 0.046. If you were to use the booster event, which was a joke on R5 in the first place, you would make Swift just double drop rate. It's just... But the issue is, you don't want double drop rate, you want to exclude everything. So let me show how the math looks on that. So this is the last math we had for like an arguably R6, but let's revert that back to an R5, in which we got a 4,000 runs to get this in. If we were to say we double drop rate Swift, so double drop rate Swift, this becomes a 92, and it also divides the amount of runs that we have to do by this. You double the drop rate, you have less the cost in runs, but let's say in the end we just don't need only Swift, we also need the Despair, we need the Vio, we need everything. Plus, doing this also would technically lower all of the other ones as well, right? So that's not really how things help that much. What would actually help for the general base is if we could say, can we exclude a bunch of these runes that we don't want? So currently we have 22 different rune types, technically 23 with the intangible in there as well, but let's just say 22 because intangible drop rates are pretty low. Hence we have this number at a 0.046. Should be right, I guess, which is pretty much the odds of just dividing it by 22. So let's see if we change this odd to, rather than dividing it by 22, let's say that we can remove 5 different types that we don't like. That already would be a lot higher. So just simply adding that in here, let's see where we get into. That simply means that we can remove 1,000 extra runs to get each of the specific ones that we don't want. So that is kind of the thing that we would like to see. So if there's ever a boosting event for R5, just boosting one thing doesn't make any sense. We want to exclude certain things. And I think that's also the main way that R5 should be fixed in the first place. You want to be excluding certain things. We do not need, like, if we just check the list of where do we get into those? Oh, that's exactly where I was getting into this. Let's see the things that I really do not need. For example, seal. How many are we having? Yeah, we have, okay, I've been using a little bit of seal as of lately. Tolerance. Yep, totally need those 6-inch tolerance. It's just a waste, man. It's just a waste. Sure, the horns and the claws kind of fix that, but the drop rate on the horns and the claws are still that low that it's not really good. Plus, we still have the issue. If you finally do land something, you could still roll a 4 rather than a 5. It just sucks. So in the end, there's a bunch of ways that you can fix R5. So let's actually sum those up and then just go over them, which I would do and which I would not do, and also just go over like what are the issues in general. Okay, so first summing up the issues. Too many rune types. Too low legendary rates. Too much chance of low rolling grind/gems. I think those are the 3 main issues with R5 right now. Sure, there could be a few other things that you could mention. I would also say issue with R5, way too easy to farm. But that's kind of on me. No, wait, what? You know what one issue is with R5? No energy cash back. Because all of the Abyss Heart stages or all of the Kairos stages in general do give you an energy cashback. So it is not much, but you still get back a little bit of energy and a little bit of crystals. In R5, you don't get any of it. So it burns more crystals. So it burns more crystals and all of the rewards are kind of shitty. So yeah. How to fix R5? Make R6 with 2.5x drop on legendary. That is an option. This is pretty much taking the 2.5 drop rate on legendary is the same what I took from a B10 to a B12. So that sense, I'm just taking that over that they could do that as well for R5. I would say give option to exclude rune types. This would be definitely a big one. It kind of depends like how many. Because if you were to be able to exclude like 10, yeah, then you double drop rate everything else, which would be actually be really good. And I think it would easily be selectable where you could say like, I can easily select 10 from those where I would say, if I were to just keep 10, let's just say like, okay, there's a 1 on Swift, Despair 2, Vio 3, Will on 4, and then we have like 6 more. I would personally place those 6 probably on the things that I'm farming the most. So that would be on Blade. That would also then probably still be like Fatal. So that's 6 already. And then you could kind of go from there, like which kind of the side things you kind of turn on and turn off itself. But it would actually make sense to just have 10, right? If you think about it, because most of us are just like hardcore grinding giants and then doing a little bit of other stuff on the side. People are not doing too much necro. People are not doing the spiritual realm. So I would say 10 would be a fair amount, and then maybe just rotate it yourself around. Sure, they could do this thing, which they also have with the, what's it called? Nope, not over there, not over there. These ones, these. But I don't even like this as well. You could say like, oh, do it like this. But then in the end, what are they going to do? They're going to split up Will, Vio, Swift, and Despair in all 4 different dungeons. And then you still have to farm everything. So this is not really a solution for that. So I would be actively liking to select and deselect things that I do get or don't get as drop rates from this. Because in the end, there's just too many freaking options out there. And it sucks to have those too many options out there. I would say this one is personally, in my opinion, and I think it might be an unpopular opinion, is more optional, which is the make always +1 on a new grind. So if it is already a 4, if you throw in another grind, it's going to be a 5. Or if it's already a 6, next grind, it's going to be a 7. I do think this would make things a little bit too easy. And that might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, saying like, I think that this is too OP. And I do think that a lot of people would really like this in the first place. But in my opinion, I think this might make it a little bit too OP and a little bit too easy. Whereas, yeah, for the people that already spend a lot of time like trying to get their grinds and stuff in, this might be a little bit like annoying. But I would just say if they were to do either one of these two, so it's not even that they have to do both. If they were to do either one of those two, I think I will be very happy with that already. If they were not to do any of those two, but they only do this one, I would still be kind of okay with it. But then again, I would say that dupe shop grinds are 5. Like by a long shot. Even right now, I would say dupe shop grinds are way better than getting something from R5. Like if we took back on that math that we had earlier, 10k crystals to get this specific grind in. It's just like, that's just too much, man. It is too much. So I would say that these are kind of issues to fix R5. You could arguably say like, okay, lower energy cost or something like that. I actually, for R5, 8 energy cost, I think I wouldn't be against that. And the main reason for that is there's no energy cashback. You farm it crazy fast, so you're getting out of crystals super fast in the first place. So I wouldn't be against that in the first place. Someone's spamming a lot of oh my gods here on the left. Okay, he sacked a hella good rune. Whole chat is insane. I'm not gonna show it because I know that he's kind of hiding his stuff in the first place, but the whole chat goes mental. So yeah, in general, I think that those are the main ways to fix R5. I would also recommend you to check the previous video that I made on R5 with all of the statistics and things why it is pretty bad right now to farm R5. Also, I do know that Com2us can check the statistics of how many things are farmed at the moment and stuff like that. Maybe they can see in the numbers that R5 is not being farmed as much. I do know a lot of top players that are pretty much saying, I have to really R5. I have like 1,000 runes in the inbox that I would have to actually grind, but I just simply do not want that. I'm one of those. Most of the people that I talk to that are like SDOC players, they still do R5 because they just really simply have to, because in the end, R5 is needed. Without R5, your runes are pretty much unusable. So yeah, that's the main thing. We're just walking into this barrier of you have to, but you don't want to. And that just sucks. And it's relatively very easy for Com2us to fix because in the end, the whole year of this year, we didn't get any content update, like proper content update. Like sure, we got like the Trial of Ascension, but no one likes that. They should actually, talking about Trial of Ascension, they should make it where Trial of Ascension has no RNG of resistance checks. At least that way, with the right things, you can just make it work. Like sure, there's still the value and the despair and blah, blah, blah. But why not in the first place remove all resistance checks from PvE if you're at 100 accuracy, but only if you're 100 accuracy? Let me know in the comments what you think about that one, but I think the game is long enough and old enough where you could say, yeah, fuck the RNG in PvE. We have enough RNG and other things anyways. I know Com2us, you like your RNG, but at least remove it from PvE. It would make us farm faster, waste more crystals, blah, 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 yada, yada, something, something. Yeah, I don't really see the issue. Like, if I had no RNG of resistance in PvE, my SF team would be pretty much looking at like a 20-second team all the time. And I know I'm not talking about Lucian always using S3, would maybe be a little bit too OP and a little bit too easy if Lucian would always like perfect AI, because then legit in every dungeon I will be Lucianing every wave and it wouldn't be that difficult in the first place, but at least remove like the really heavy RNG of like just like, oh yeah, my run worked like 50 times in a row, but now it fails 3 times in a row because of Death Break misses from Trillia or something. I don't know. So guys, let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section, and hopefully you can give some clout to this video to just give a little bit more spread of saying like, okay, how much R5 sucks, and then maybe Com2us can actually do something about it. Well guys, thanks a lot for watching for this one. I see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.